All right, y'all, we are back for the episode 6 breakdown of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This is the season finale. And just like a season finale should, it is packed with tons of action. So let's talk about it. We pick up in the thick of things while we are mid attack from Karli and the Flag Smashers. They are executing a plan. She seemingly is executing a suicide mission because she is willing to die for the cause and to make sure that this plan goes off without a hitch. We get moments where Bucky gets to talk to Karli, and we remember in episodes previous we had a one-on-one with Sam and Karli, and this just really just drives home the fact that she is a person and she is reachable, she is relatable, even though she definitely reads all types of dictatorship at some point. Sometimes she makes really irrational, emotional decisions, all in the pursuit of her goal. But I really love this little phone conversation that they had because you could see that they're both trying to buy time, but they were still hearing each other out, even though they both are resolute on their sides of the fence. Now, it's been something about Sharon ever since she reappeared, and I have been struggling with being able to trust her just in how she's operating. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit more towards the end of my video, but this episode we definitely get rightfully so to be suspicious and to not trust her. And you can definitely feel that from the top of the episode when she kind of just appears masked as someone else. In this episode, we get to see finally Sam as Falcon America. That's totally not a thing, but I totally want to make it a thing because Falcon America is a vibe. He has stepped in and taken the mantle as Captain America. We get to see him in his new suit with all of his new abilities on full display. He still has his wings, so he's able to fly like the Falcon, but he's also carrying the shield like Captain America. He still has Red Wing at his service, and we love to see it. This episode was definitely action-packed, being able to put on full display all of the new Captain America's abilities, not just technically, but on a personal level as well. As towards the end of the episode, we get a very honest and authentic speech from Sam that really breaks down the problems at play that spawned this entire Flag Smasher movement. And as I mentioned, it feels like Karli's on a suicide mission, and there's a moment where she's speaking with the rest of her little super soldier troops and talking about how the mission must go on and how they're going to succeed regardless, even if they do not live after. And you could tell that this is the first glimpse of them kind of pushing back a little bit. While no one actively objects, you can see that not everyone is bought into this idea of losing their lives tonight. And in the midst of this mission that is taking place, this battle that is happening with Captain America, Bucky, and Sharon banding together to try to stop Karli, we also get fake Captain America, who's decided not to step down, decided not to fall back. We saw in the last episode he was creating his own shield. He got his little costume back, and he's like, I'm still in this thing. He appears back again, and he's ready to fight Karli. And child, I didn't like him from the beginning. Still don't like him by the end, but you know, he's here and he appears to be fighting on the right side for now. So this episode feels like one large action sequence where we get to see just this entire fight take place over the course of about half of the episode at least. And in the thick of it, we discover that Sharon is actually the power broker, and she is implied that she basically turned Karli and the other super soldiers into super soldiers, and they were initially working for her, and then they revolted or decided to run and stop working for her. And Sharon in this moment tries to get her to come back or agree to come back, and we learn that she's not necessarily for what the US is for. She's about her independence and building her, I guess, criminal empire. We learned earlier this season that Sharon was operating off the grid because she was kind of excommunicated from the US and put on a list of basically a no-fly, no entry into the US. She wasn't allowed to work for the agency anymore, anything like that. And Sam was supposed to be working on getting her a pardon. Even when that happened earlier in the season, I was very much so nervous. I don't know if she really feels like she needs this, because she seems like she's flourishing over here where she is. And now we know why, because she's the actual power broker, and she is going to be, I believe in seasons to come, one of the antagonists as we see the shift with this big reveal. It's unfortunate though, because Sam and Bucky both still don't know that Sharon is who Sharon is, and by the end of the episode, the U.S. is giving her this pardon, and now she has full access to more trade secrets, is working back with the government and getting more access to be able to utilize all of this information on the black market to her whim. I think the one good thing about Sharon being in this episode, even though she's going to ultimately wind up being a problem, is that she's the one who actually kills Karli. And I think that she's the only one who would have been capable of doing it, because Zemo is back locked up. And I don't think that Sam would have it in him to be able to kill her. He still wanted to try to reach her even up until the point where she had a gun on him. And I don't think that Bucky would have even killed her either. Maybe fake Captain America or now Agent America would have killed her, but Sharon is the one who pulls the trigger, does so without hesitating, and with that said, she's down. Now, one thing I do want to note is that the Flag Smashers mission is not over just because Karli dies, and she makes this note quite a few times earlier on in the episode, where she says, like, whether she dies or not, the mission is still going to go on, their cause is still going to be fought for, their platform is big enough, their reach is big enough, they have enough followers for things to go on and not necessarily depend on one or two leaders. So I definitely think that in seasons to come, we're going to continue to see people pushing back against these world governments, which is why we also see Sam making such a very hard plea to the government officials at the end, because they don't get it and they don't realize that just because Karli is dead doesn't mean that this is going to stop. It won't stop until they actually learn to do right by the people. And I love the statement that they decided to make in this episode with new Captain America, i.e. Sam stepping into his rightful place and not shying away from the tough conversation around race, around patriotism, around disenfranchised people, people of color, people with power, misusing their power. Like, they had all of those conversations in one in this episode, and I thought that it was very beautiful how they just chose to do it. And I love that they did a callback to Isaiah and allow him to have a moment of not only building up his legacy when Sam actually takes him to the museum to show him, like, we are never going to forget you and what you have done, but also with Isaiah seeing Sam step into this position and being very vocal about his position, the struggles that are going to come with it, and him choosing to do it anyway, knowing who he is or what this country sees him as. I thought that it was a very great moment of validation for Isaiah, for him to feel like everything that he went through wasn't in vain, because his steps allowed for Sam to be able to stand where he is today. And I'm so proud of Bucky going to his good old pal and telling him finally that he's the one who actually murdered his son and taking accountability for that. I think what was said in previous episodes about him taking revenge in his atonement versus actually apologizing really hit home. So now he is no longer trying to take revenge and right the wrongs of, like, putting all these Hydra people in these places. He's actually atoning for his past mistakes by actually admitting to what he has done and apologizing for it, and then taking whatever consequence or reaction comes from the people that he is actually apologizing to. And we only get to see that with this conversation with his good friend, but I think that this was the most powerful one for him to do it, because he basically winds up losing his routine and one person in his life that he really loved very deeply, and he has started to build a routine around, and wind up hurting him, but did so by giving him peace and comfort of knowing what actually happened to his son. Overall, I still kind of wish that this series would have just been one long movie or two different movies, because I can definitely tell as we went along that they were just stopping. Like, we could have continued to play, but they stopped it just for the sake of it being an episode. The series definitely gave us the cinematic Marvel vibes, and it felt like a Marvel movie, so I'm definitely happy about the story that they told, but I wish it would have been in movie form. But now it's available for us to all binge watch on Disneyplus whenever we want, so you can watch it straight through. Shout out to Disneyplus, because they are killing it right now with the Marvel series. Next up is Loki, and then we have Black Widow's movie coming as well, and I'm excited for those things. Before I finish off this episode breakdown, I wanted to make the note that the Sharon information that we get shared about her getting trade secrets or being pardoned by the US happens as the post-credit scene, so be sure to make sure that you watch that so that you get all of that tidbit of information. And now we have the official Captain America America is Sam, so I believe the next episode or the next season of this will be called Captain America and the Winter Soldier as the sequel to this. Well, that is my breakdown of Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 6. Now it's your turn. Tell me what you thought of the series as well as the season finale in the comment section down below. If you're new here, I'm Erica Vaney and I post new entertainment, television, and film videos every day, multiple times a day, and you should really join the tribe. Stay up on the know. Hit subscribe. Be sure to like this video. Again, post a comment in the comment section down below. I love to reply to you all and have conversations down there. And I'll see you in my next video.